name's Lisa Lynn Eveleth, and I'm the founder of Live Fit with Lupus. And what we do for our foundation is we help offer autoimmune patients with special resources, including nutrition, fitness, wellness. We have different programs that we're offering. And so we have today with us Les and Lynette Pritchard, and they'll be speaking a lot about nutrition and their product. They're actually just launched it in September of this year, or last year, I'm sorry. We're into 2015 now. And it's called VIM, and that stands for Vitality, Integrity, and Motivation. And I have to say that with myself, obviously having lupus for 21 years, or being diagnosed that long ago, and prior to that, you know, having some different ailments with, I had a splenectomy in 87, so definitely I was sicker before that. So, and I've tried a lot of products over the years, and always searching, always, you know, trying to get rid of the inflammation in my body, because it's a constant battle. And some of you that may have seen me through the struggles, and I've come across, you know, I went to school actually with Les, and he came and spoke to me. Of course, I'm always a little bit skeptical. And so I looked at the product, just looking at the back and looking at all the ingredients. It's just so clean and so pure. And so I was very motivated by there's 42, in fact, beyond organic ingredients in just the superfood alone. So I was very, you know, kind of intrigued by it all. So I was willing to definitely try it because there was nothing that was going to hurt me in putting it into my body. So I've been on it now for 3 months, and I have to say it's amazing the difference I feel. And I've always tried to, you know, keep myself very healthy and just, you know, struggle through those flare-ups. And still, I've been able to, with my medicine, I've been able to chop away. I'm not on prednisone any longer. That's a big one I didn't write down. So no more prednisone. The steroid I've been on since, off and on since 1987. Mostly on, so that's kind of a big deal. And then I've also been gone off my Plaquenil, which is an anti-inflammatory, which is an anti-malaria drug that they use pretty much for protocol when you have an autoimmune disease, usually with lupus or arthritis. They pretty much all the time will put you on, a medical doctor will put you on Plaquenil. So I was on 400 milligrams. I'm no longer on that, which is kind of a huge deal as well. So I've been on that since 1993. And then I've chopped away a little bit out of my Cellcept. It's an anti-rejection drug, so I'm on 2,000 milligrams now and 1,500 milligrams. And the things that I notice most, and that's the medicine is nice to get down on my medicine and eventually get off medicine, which would be great. I've noticed, I mean, for one, my energy level, my skin is amazing. Like, I've had lesions on my skin that have really healed. The skin is, you know, your largest organ, so that's kind of been a big deal. And I've noticed just my gums are more pink. I mean, they don't bleed when I floss. I've noticed hot flashes I used to have from my thyroid every hour and a half. I'm down to, again, I don't think I've had one today. So I know I had one last night, but other than that, I mean, 80% I'd say definitely with my hot flashes has decreased, which is great for me, not so much of a nuisance. I've noticed in my clients as well some different changes in their digestive tract. There's certain people that have a sluggish digestive tract, and definitely things are moving along and working better. I know some people that have been on Advil on a daily basis that have been able to get off of the Advil because their inflammation has subsided and they're not hurting anymore. My dad his lab work is getting great. He was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and his A1C was, 6.7, and it's down. He's only been on it a little over a month, and it's down to a less than 6. I think it was a 5.8 the last time, so it's getting there, so that's great. Myself, again, goodness, the thing I noticed too is just like even the whites of my eyes, there's not so much inflammation in my eyes. Usually people notice when I'm not feeling well is when my eyes are nice and bloodshot. And my hair, my nails are growing like crazy. And I usually have a problem with hair loss just from the thyroid acting up, overactive. I know there's a lot more, and I can't think of them. But it goes on and on. The list goes on. So I, definitely we're partnering up with them, and I commend them for formulating this product. I think it's a wonderful, pure, clean product, and I'll let you, introduce them, and I guess you guys can introduce a little bit and tell yourself about your background a little bit more than myself. So, yeah,
I don't know
thank
if
you.
we'll need that. I'm Italian, so I'm kind of loud, and so maybe we won't need that. Go ahead, honey.
Thank you very much, Lisa. I take my hat off to her because it takes a special person to have a life-threatening affliction to face that and overcome it, but even take yourself to a different level to be able to motivate other people and show them the light, and that's what Lisa does every single day. So it's really an honor and a privilege to partner with Live Fit with Lupus and to be here tonight to share with you some life-changing information. Yes, we're going to talk about our company and our products, but we're also going to give you some very important general tips to help you, become a statistic on the positive side of things. We live in a country today unique to America where 5 out of 6 of us will die from heart disease and/or cancer. And according to the Columbia School of Medicine, David Katz at the Yale Prevention Center, and hundreds of other studies and professionals and scientists and medical doctors and naturopaths, these diseases are largely preventable. And because of our lifestyle and our food supply and the lack of nutrition getting into our bodies at a cellular level, we're in big trouble here in the United States. So Lynette and I are always excited to get up in front of people and talk about the state of affairs today, the problems and the solutions that are a lot simpler than you might think. And specific to autoimmune disease, we're going to cover some of that ground as well tonight. But before we get started, let me pass it over to my lovely wife here so she can tell you a little bit about how we got here today.
Hi, everyone. Well, it's been an evolution. I've been in the wellness industry for about 21 years. We have been in the wellness industry. I've had clinics, and as a practitioner in bodywork, holistic, in natural healing. Started out in massage therapy and started progressing as my health. I had some health challenges. I was told by 5 different doctors and neurologists that I had MS about 18 years ago. And that was during a 2.5-year period of searching what was happening with my neurological function in my arms and my hands. And as a body worker, that was devastating to me. So during that time of searching, it wasn't getting better, whether drugs or not. I wasn't really given any nutritional advice at all. And luckily, I had a wellness center in downtown Chicago, many practitioners working with me, and I was turned on to a particular type of raw food nutrition. And during that experience, I realized that my body really wanted to heal. I just needed to give it what it needed. And so over the course of the following 18 years, my profession advanced in cleansing, detoxification, whole food nutrition, raw food nutrition. I got into some other therapies, colon hydrotherapy, quantum reflex analysis, a variety of modalities that filled my practice. And what I started to see over those years, through personal experience, which I haven't had an aspirin since, in 18 years. I haven't had an antibiotic. I don't take any over-the-counter things like that at all. When I eat poorly, my body reacts. When I eat clean and follow good nutrition and get real nutrition into my body in the correct way, my body responds. And so with my clients over, the following 18, 19 years, what I started to see is that the same thing happened for everybody else when they really took the time and effort to make some changes. What I also found, though, is that most people might have got great results immediately by starting to clean their body out and get in what it needed, but they had difficulties keeping it for the long haul. And I know it's difficult in this world that we live in to eat what we need to in the quantities that we need to, with deficient nutrients in our food, and also lifestyle and family and that social thing that happens. And so after we sold our practice, our couple practices, we had the opportunity to own a health food store, which we sold 2 years ago, and added therapeutic treatments and juice bars and all of that, made it a complete wellness center, and allowing people to teach them how to purchase food and how to use it. But we discovered when we bought a failing health food store that there was tons of inferior product that was available to the average person, and that most people had no idea what they were looking for when they came in. So the results really spoke for themselves as we started working individually with people. And that experience led us, when we sold our business, we moved here, and we're going to do another brick and mortar store and center. And we decided that, you know what, I think we don't need to fill our store, and it's much easier to reach people all across the country where we speak to people about wellness. And we were able to have the opportunity to develop our own products. Why don't you talk to them about Vim?
Yeah, well, and just a little bit to shed some light on the background, back in the 1920s, guys, there's congressional doctrines, a matter of public record, where both houses of Congress were presented with evidence that our soils were depleted almost 100 years ago of minerals from the factory farming and over-farming of the soils. Well, 100 years, fast forward 100 years till today's time, we know that we're not doing any better, we're doing much worse. In the 1950s, the synthetic vitamin business was born because in the 20s, when we discovered A, B, C, D, E, and K, we were dissecting green leafy vegetables. The synthetic vitamin industry, as I mentioned, took off in the 50s, and here we are 50, 65 years later, finally going back full circle to look at nutrition in whole food form. Without that living nutrition coming into your body, there's no cellular magnetism, there's no cellular assimilation, there's no cellular resonance. And that's one of the things that makes Vim such a powerful product. Let me go through a couple of slides here as we get into this. And
all of this is available on our website. So
she's a pretty talented lady, and I have to admit she's the expert in the family, but I've learned a lot through osmosis over the years, and it's kind of seeped into my skull. But she's been around a long time and has helped thousands of people reclaim their health. And I'm just sort of her tag along that carries the heavy stuff to the meetings, but it's really exciting to be a part of this. I do come from a pharmaceutical background, ironically. My dad was a DO, my mom was a BSN, so it was really ironic that my dad turned me on to nutrition 25 years ago because, like a lot of older doctors, his patients were getting older with him, but nutrition was the only thing that allowed him to combat the chronic diseases. According to the Center for Disease Control, 70% of fatal diseases are chronic diseases in this country, which means people suffer from them for at least 10 years. Okay, so it was really neat that he turned me on to nutrition, and this was part of the reason why this company was born. So, which leads us back to Vim, which is really our kind of our rock star foundational product. This is what we built our company on, and we're very proud of it because we achieved quite a few things worth noting. First of all, this product is all-inclusive of your protein with a non-GMO, which is a non-genetically modified. We'll talk about how GMO foods cause inflammation in the body later, but this is all organic, raw, living, gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free. You don't want soy in a health food product. As Lynette mentioned, we were stunned to see how many health food products are out there that have toxic tagalongs in their ingredient list. So we were obsessed with quality when we built this product, and we've achieved it. And it's also a great value. You know, one of the things that we accomplished with this is we would have people come into our store and say, gee, Les, you know, where do we start? I know I need a probiotic for gut health because 70% of my immune system is in my gut. A lot of people don't realize that you have 10 times more bacterial cells in your gut than you do cells in the entire body. So without proper gut health, you have very little chance at wellness. The other thing is, one of the reasons why we have so much obesity in America is because the average American consumes over 700 pounds of sugar annually. And that sugar destroys the microflora in our gut and causes this chronic obesity. Putting good bacteria into the digestive system is a way to counteract that. There's really a battle going on inside your gut, and it should be 80% good soldiers versus 20% bad soldiers. And putting probiotics in your body on a daily basis is a huge step towards achieving health. Anti-inflammatories, we're going to talk about inflammation big time tonight because that's the root of every symptom and disease that you can name. Antioxidants to fight free radical cascade and damage in the body. What am I missing, honey? Anti-infectives. We have an adaptogen to fight physical stress. and emotional stress. Nobody has stress in here, right? But it's really, stress doesn't just cause gray hair. Stress actually causes a very deadly compound called cortisol to be released in our bodies on a chronic basis, and that's another inflammatory agent that we want to avoid and suppress. Let me throw it over to you, honey. What am I missing?
You know, what we found by having a health food store, I mean, having a clinic and working one-on-one with somebody and teaching my classes, it was fun. They followed a program. I had a 4-week program that we followed, and we just did week by week. But having a health food store was really the greatest education for us. You know, we knew what people were asking for. We knew the options that were available to buy as a store owner. And the quality was really, really, I wouldn't give it to my son. And we literally got rid of 60 to 70% of the product that was in that store when we bought it. We had a big clearance sale. But what we discovered is that people wanted protein. And when you research the quality of protein, everybody's on a protein product. They want a meal replacement. They want a protein for after they work out. They want, you know, what should I have for breakfast? We discovered that when we were able to focus on quality, we were able to get more ingredients in our product than any other product, because most products have sweeteners, sorbitol, aspartame, sugar, rice bran, fillers, a lot of things in it to make it taste like a cream puff. But it wasn't really doing anything, and protein isn't the most important thing. We absolutely need protein. We need macronutrients, our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. Those are the big things that we need. They build, and we need them every day. But what we're, across the board, what I got the most results with people, whether it was cancer or arthritis or depression or constipation, is the phytochemicals, the micronutrients. That's really, really what we're lacking. There are studies out there that tell us we need 2.5 pounds of greens a day. Nobody is getting 2.5 pounds of greens a day. Now, if you're juicing and blending and having salads and sauteing, mostly raw greens we need. That doesn't mean broccoli and celery, and those things are all important. We're talking green leafy vegetables, and 2.5 pounds is a lot because they're very light, right? And so that's the key to healing, is getting those in. And so we kind of, and I'll show you a picture. This is what's in this product. It's not just protein, but it is so many more things. And this is a picture, not our brands, because this is much cleaner than these products. But there's about $700 to $800 worth of individual nutrients that we put in food form. Some of these are synthetic, and it's not the brands that we're trying to show you, it's what's in them. That's saying a lot.
Okay, so one of the things that we had an epiphany a couple years ago, and we thought, well, we know that we can find 1%ers like Lisa who are willing to juice wheatgrass and juice 4 times a day and blend food and get all their greens in and eliminate toxins from their body and all these things. But
And it is miraculous.
she represents 1% of the population. In other words, we wanted to reach the other 99% of people who won't change their diet, who won't change their shopping habits in a grocery store, who won't change their workout, who won't drink wheatgrass, who won't get colonics and all these things. So what we found is for that middle-aged person, 35, 45, 55, 65, age didn't matter.
And
They'd walk in our store and they just wanted to change, but when they look at that, when they looked at that, they're overwhelmed. And they're like, well, I can't afford that. I don't want to do that. And they'd go back to their Bud Light and chicken wing lifestyle, and they wonder why they're full of cancer in their 60s. But here's what we found. And this is really this is really our strategy and one of our mission statements here. And we go all over the country and do these talks. We do fundraisers for churches. We're going to New York this weekend. We'll be in St. Louis in February. But here's the deal. We knew that we could take an average American, and if he can get a smoothie first thing in the morning when most people fail for breakfast. We think bagels and coffee full of cream and sugar is healthy, but our blood sugar spikes, and at 10:30 we crash. And you play this roller coaster with your blood sugar all day. Type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease, and it's at epidemic levels, and it all has to do with bad sugars and bad fats. But back to my point is that we knew we could get to the rest of America by drinking a smoothie in the morning, and we have changed hundreds of people's lives by just introducing that concept of drinking your nutrition is when your feet hit the floor in the morning, so you can go on about your day and you don't have to become a health nut like me and Lynette and change your entire life, but you're still getting that cellular nutrition. We don't add any sugar or any other toxins to our products. Sugar is the anti-nutrient. A healthy cell needs oxygen to survive and thrive. A cancer cell uses sugar and converts it into yeast to be able to multiply itself. It protects itself from oxygen. The greens are full of oxygen, which help alkalize the body and fight inflammation. Here, back to you, honey. I want to talk about inflammation next, but maybe I forgot.
Well, that was part of it too, because in some of those nutrients, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of curcumin or turmeric and things like that. And again, if we could keep it in food form without any added ingredients, and the processing is superior, we were able to concentrate things so that one scoop is much more than taking all of those things at one time. And so in here are anti-inflammatories and adaptogens, herbs and roots and nutrients in food form that are the powerhouse, that they go into the body, they break things down, they clean things out, they build things up, and frankly, they're life. The sun creates chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green that we are deficient in. We're supposed to eat green in abundance daily. We don't do that. It's not convenient. We used to think that we had to, take ham and bacon and saute greens up in a thing, and nobody's going to do that. It's a treat, but it's not good for you. And so that's why this works. It comes in and people don't know it. They take a couple scoops every day. Pretty soon their body's craving more. They start to take it twice a day. If they don't take it, they're like, holy cow, I don't feel right today. And all of a sudden they notice that their inflammation, they're able to get up and walk around, wounds are healing, alertness is happening, children are reading better. Seniors, my father-in-law, unfortunately now has suffering from dementia, and he's had wounds from poor circulation, and he's 85 and he's in his last stages of life, and open wounds for 7 months on his feet and his shins. And the only thing that we changed was this product and the other two that we think everybody should get in every day. And his wounds, he was at wound clinics, discussing removing his legs. All of his wounds are gone, except for one little one between his two toes. I mean, this is just what happens for anything. When you give the body what it needs, it starts to repair and rebuild.
Yeah, the human body is really miraculous. It wants to reach homeostasis. It wants to correct itself. It wants to clean itself out. You could take a heavy smoker that smoked 2 packs a day and get them off cigarettes, and 10 years later, their lungs look like they've never smoked. It's just amazing. But one cool thing about the lungs is when you unfold all the tissue of the human lungs, it's the size of a tennis court. That's how complex that one organ is. I mean, it's just amazing. But there's 2 concepts I want to share with you tonight that I really want you to take home. If you take home nothing else, these 2 concepts will really change your life. Number 1 is inflammation. Okay, we call diseases different names. Alzheimer's, arthritis, cancer, heart disease, arthrosclerosis, myocardial infarction, all these different names, but really the common denominator behind every disease and affliction that is really affecting us today is inflammation. Now, I slice my finger. Inflammation is a good thing. It's a response the body does to help clot the blood, to send antibodies to that cut. But the chronic inflammation that comes from that have foreign molecules like aspartame, sucralose, all this other junk that's in our food, when that comes into the body, we look at it as a foreign molecule, and we start to throw inflammation against it. Well, in a chronic inflammatory state, the body eventually starts attacking itself. It raises the white flag. Our immune system says, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to attack. I don't know who's a good guy. I don't know who's a bad guy. I just attack everything. It attacks the joints, we call it rheumatoid arthritis. It attacks the brain, we call it Alzheimer's. We get inflammation of the joints, we call it arthritis. We get inflammation of the blood, we call it leukemia. Call it whatever you want, but chronic inflammation is the culprit. And what happens eventually, okay, is because disease is like a baby dinosaur in an egg. It starts to chip its way out, and after a while, you don't feel anything. But all of a sudden, and we've all had friends and family and neighbors happen to, when that dinosaur gets out of the egg, it's looking to feast, and it feasts on the human body. And that's what disease is like. I think that's a really important analogy to remember because it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens over time. Eventually, the chronic inflammation causes something called nuclear kappa factor beta, or factor B sometimes it's referred to as. And this is amazing, guys. This has been studied and discovered since the mid-90s. But after nuclear kappa factor B is triggered, it's a cascade in the body that sends chronic inflammation out to every cell in the body, and it actually gets inside the nucleus of the cell and interferes with your DNA structure and starts to destroy your cells. This is the welcome mat for cancer and any other disease that we can think of. So that's what we're trying to prevent, okay? Why are we so inflamed? Well, when I was a kid, there was like 33 chemicals that are approved by the FDA to be in our food. Now it's 10 times that. Our food supply is really full of genetically modified soy and corn. Everything around the perimeter in the grocery store is likely safe. Everything in between is just made of corn and soy. So we're getting all this really non-nutritious food. And what's scary is that this generation of children today is the first generation in the history of the world that's predicted not to outlive their parents. And that's from a generational malnutrition state. So point number 2, alkalinity. We, inside of our internal systems, and we studied with Dr. Robert Young, who should have won a Nobel Peace Prize for his work. He wrote a book called The pH Miracle a couple decades ago, and he's written several other books about diabetes and other things that he's proven to cure clinically with his patients. Shelley Young's a raw food chef and instructor like Lynette, and we've worked with them, but what Dr. Young proved is that we have an alkaline acid scale in our bodies, just like your jacuzzis and pool do. 0 being most acid, 14 being most alkaline. Most of us with inflammation, pain, and disease are in the 4s and 5s, sometimes even lower. We're full of acidity. Disease loves inflammation. Disease loves acidity. Disease hates oxygen. Okay, disease loves mucus. But the reality is when you can alkalize your internal systems, and how do you do that? With greens. Okay, so you don't need this product if you're juicing 8 times a day. You don't need this product if you're eating 2.5 pounds of green vegetables every single day. But I don't meet anybody who hits that criteria. So this is a great way to hit your mark without growing a garden in your kitchen, so to speak. When you get your alkaline in the mid to low 7s, 7.2, 7.4, your body starts to heal itself. It's amazing. So if Patty came to me and said, Les, I've got arthritis, dementia, and cancer, I can live with arthritis. I just want to get rid of my dementia and my cancer. Can you help me? And I'd say, no, Patty, I can't, because when you conquer inflammation in the body and you get the alkalinity right, the body heals itself, not selectively, but holistically. So all of those things would be underneath her feet and underneath her immune system. It's just so powerful, guys. If the first scientist that discovered the human cell knew what we knew now, his mind would explode. I mean, what's so cool about nutrition is the technology. We're able to extract OPCs, oligomeric proanthocyanins, out of grape seeds that fight inflammation in the body. We couldn't do that 20, 30 years ago. So it's the technology and the processing that makes this so therapeutic and beneficial and intense and dense. So those are the 2 concepts I really wanted to share with you tonight. And then we'll buzz through a little bit more about what we do and how we do it and why we do it.
Yeah, we don't want to keep it so heavy. We just, by creating this product, we were just able to combine a lot of things and simply get it into people without all of the drama. And it's working. And just one. Without your drama?
Is that too
That's
heavy?
drama too.
I like to get those points across
No,
because
I was
those are.
talking about drama in the kitchen. I
Oh,
wasn't talking about your
That's too heavy. I do get excited about it because it's really life-changing stuff. So.
Wait, I have one thing to say.
Okay.
So, last thing. Just think of it this way. We were always told we need vitamins. Vitamins are fruit. We really don't need that much fruit. And that's why we're so deficient. Greens are minerals. Minerals ignite everything in our body. It's miraculous what minerals do. You don't have enough minerals, your bones fall apart. You don't have enough minerals, your teeth fall apart. I mean, all these things happen in your body because of minerals. So getting an abundance full of chlorophyll, which is mineral rich, and minerals are also alkaline and oxygen and all of those little things that we really, really need that have dramatic results. Okay, now but we came up with 3 things that we saw that people, when they came into our store or even in our own lives, that we thought, what's going to be the best bang for their buck? Because we could have came up with anything. And where are people really, really deficient? And so there were 3 things that we thought, well, this would be our essential 3. Keep it simple, because they're oils and liquids and food, we didn't want a bunch of capsules and pills. So we decided that, and science says that some of the most important things that we're lacking in is all of that in the VIM, omega-3 fatty acids. So the brain is surrounded by a coating of omega-3. And again, just by eating out of a box, bag, can, window, or restaurant for the last 40 years, we were told, that's a better way to eat, time, go out to eat. Unfortunately, and everything in the middle of your grocery store in a box, bag, or can is predominantly rancid oils. And unfortunately, by design, we have been brainwashed into thinking that eating out of a box is better than eating fresh from our food that we make ourselves. And so omega oils are really deficient. Depression, anxiety, anger, dementia, Alzheimer's, all of these brain dysfunctions aren't getting any better. And this is a result of massive deficiency in omega oils. And you're good at this. I'm going to let you do that.
Well, here's the thing, guys. No matter how healthy you eat, you can't get enough essential fatty acids from a good, clean fish oil. And my vegan friends always lose the argument, but a fish oil, like our omega, is the best source of EPA and DHA. Those are the two healing molecules within the omega-3 family that we need so desperately for heart and brain health. But the intelligence of the cell doesn't lie inside the nucleus. It's in the cell membrane. Omega-3 literally protects the cell membrane from being recruited by a mutant cell. The omega-3s are really amazing at fighting inflammation. We get tons of 6s and 9s, as Lynette mentioned, from our food supply. How do we counteract that inflammatory response? We do it with omega-3. You get a kid with ADHD, or even an adult with ADHD, and put some brain nutritional food like this product into them, and it's a game changer. It's just amazing. So
sourcing was another issue with fish oils because they're so rancid.
Yeah, I mean, big study came out last year. 70% of the fish oils on the market had olive oil, soybean oil, and if you're lucky, a little fish oil. This is molecularly distilled, third-party tested, guaranteed free of mercury, mercury is a really deadly poison, guys. It has an affinity to stick to brain tissue, almost like a puzzle piece. So we don't want mercury in our fish oil. Unfortunately, a lot of them have it in there, but not ours. Once a day, burp-free. Very, very clean omega-3. If you've got a great one, stick with it. Otherwise, we had to come out with one because it's part of our core nutrition that we know if you're breathing, you need it.
And these are some of the problems that we have just by being deficient. And I think one of the greatest and scariest things that we're experiencing is newborns that are born deficient in their omega oils already. And we need their brains, and that's because the mom was already deficient. So ADHD, autism, all of these, ADD, all of these brain dysfunction that we're experiencing today is just extremely scary. So for children, they need it as well. And the other, did you want to say something?
One last thing on omega-3s. Unfortunately, we're going to see an epidemic level of dementia and cognitive diseases because we're obsessed in this country with putting our cholesterol levels down with drugs. And that's a deadly combination. Our brain needs cholesterol. Our brain's made out of cholesterol. Our brain's made out of fat. Without good fats, like a good fish oil coming into your body, you're starving the brain in nutrition. And we're seeing early onset dementia now with people in their 30s. So unfortunately, we're going to see it continue to rise because of this issue. It's just...
Hey, let's really quickly, have you ever heard of this before? I don't know if it had to do with mercury or what, but I took a fish oil pill one time, and I was dizzy for 3 days straight. Like I thought I had something wrong. I'm trying to figure out what happened. I thought, well, I took that fish oil pill, so I Googled it, and it had that sometimes some people have had that effect of being dizzy. I didn't know if it had something else in the fish oil. It was something that causes that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that before.
Never. I've never heard that.
Never heard of it, but there is a lot of junk out there. Be surprised because, when it comes to the nutritional, our products are made in an FDA-approved laboratory, but it's not approved by the FDA. There's something called the GMP, which is Good Manufacturing Processes, which we're also a part of, but it's kind of like the Wild West. You can go and find a fish oil out there, and a lot of them are in discount stores where people say, well, I get 2,000 soft gels for $4, and I'm like, ooh, because the reality is, and studies have shown that there's a lot of toxic stuff in there, rancid soybean oil, olive oil, genetically modified stuff. So it just pays to know where your nutrition is coming from. It really does.
I just want to give you a little bit of food for thought, and I'm pretty sure that you're probably going to know the answer, but has anybody ever been diagnosed with heart cancer? And does anybody ever think about that the heart never gets cancer?
Well, except it sometimes does, because I asked my heart doctor that once. And he said there are heart cancers, but they're very rare.
It's extremely rare, and it might be a valve or something attached to the heart, but hearts don't get cancer, and they need fat. And we're constantly told to stay away from fats because of cholesterol, again. And our brains and our hearts need healthy fats. The problem is they're getting, we have heart attacks and we have heart failure, but both our heart and our brain needs clean, healthy fat. It's really, really important. So it's an interesting.
Last product in our core line, guys, our core 3 with the Vim Superfood, the Omega, and the D3. We had to come out with a liquid, odorless, tasteless D3 for the kiddos out there, the seniors who don't like to take pills. So this is an excellent product. 80% of Americans, according to research, are deficient in D3. We're certainly not manufacturing any D3 this time of the year with the weather we look out outside. We're not out there sweating in the sun, and that's how we manufacture D3. So when we're deficient in D3 in the body, really bad things happen. You want to talk about it, hon?
You're doing really good.
Okay. So again, show me any type of affliction out there, from the cognitive stuff to the physical stuff, and they're deficient in D3. D3 orchestrates over 1,000 genes in the body. So when we're deficient, we have 1,000 genes walking around in our body not knowing what to do or how to interact. Lynette talked about minerals earlier. So when we're mineral deficient, our cells don't communicate. When we're D3 deficient, they don't have any orchestration, don't know what to do. So for bone, heart, cognitive, immune, D3 is a hormone once the liver gets done with it, and is a conductor of immune cells. So it's just an incredible product, and this is, from infants to seniors, it's needed. 35 IUs per pound of body weight. My good friend Dr. Charlie Rouse, who's a double PhD, he recommends 35 IUs per pound of body weight of D3 on a daily basis. And we have seen incredible immune testimonials roll into our office just because of that product.
Autistic children, this is huge. And so they're recommending anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000, and in therapeutic levels, 10,000 IUs a day. And think about that, 1 cup, a whole cup of mushrooms. So they say you could get D3 from your food, but a cup of mushrooms is 300 IUs. We need 2,000 to 5,000 a day. So if you think about the amount of eggs and mushrooms and cod you might have to eat, you'd have to eat those things, a lot of them, every single day. You just can't get enough from your food because we're supposed to get it from the sun. Those sunblocks, again, since the 80s, we've been told that we need sunblock, need to stay out of the sun, sun's dangerous, everybody wears a hat, everybody stays out of it. The results are very scary, what we're seeing now with D3 deficiency. We also have a D3 test kit, or a test that you could get through our website. If you're concerned about your D3 deficiency, bless you, but the reality is that we all need to take it. So, the Royal Flush. So we came up with 3 products that we thought everybody needed, and that was D3, Omega-3, and our Vim Superfood, all of those things combined, and it's awesome. It's easy to take, liquids, shake, 1 little capsule a day. And that's convenient for people. We're seeing the 95 to 99% of the people that we cross paths with who aren't raw foodists and all those other things, all those normal people that we're focusing on are really getting great results, just taking those simple things that we're all deficient in. The other part of our company, we decided, well, especially at the health food store, we noticed, and these are billion-dollar industries, and areas that people are really suffering from, and that's weight loss, sleep, energy, and cleansing, which most people don't want to talk about. But those are for lifestyle products. Some people take some people take all of them. Just like our other products though. No magnesium steroid, no silica, calcium dioxide, all these fillers that go into products that make them not effective. Ours are very clean, even our capsules are vegetable cellulose. That was key for us to make them as efficacious as we possibly could. So, have you pooped today? I've been a colon hydrotherapist for many years, and I focus on digestive wellness. But in my own healing and in the healing of thousands of clients that I've talked with and worked with, the one and first thing that's most important when you're changing any program, And people will argue with me a lot. They're confused on how often we should go to the bathroom, or I go to the bathroom. I go every other day and it's fine. I even have doctors tell people, I hear that their doctors tell them, oh, you skip a day, it's okay, just as long as you're going. When it gets to 5, 7 days, then it's a problem. Well, the reality is, if you're eating 3 times a day plus snacks or more, and you're going once a day or once every other day, you're not going enough. And we're so far behind from going to the bathroom that the average person is walking around with 5 to 50 pounds of excess fecal matter in their bowel. The colon is 5 to 6 feet in length, and it's the garbage dump of our bodies. And it's supposed to be dumping, but we're sitting down in front of a TV, in front of a computer, in the car, at a movie theater, or whatever. We're sitting too much, and that's just how our world is. So if we were living in the woods and gathering and foraging and doing the things that we don't have to do anymore, that would be fine. We'd eat, we'd go to the bathroom, it'd be all good. But we don't live in that world anymore. So we still have the same bodies that were in operation thousands of years ago, but we don't live in the same natural world. So we have to assist it. So over the course of the years that I've worked with people for digestive wellness and cleansing and detoxification, I've tried many, many products. And I've tried horrible things, guggling down bentonite clay, doing all these crazy things and therapies and teaching people how to do enemas. There's a lot of products out there, and a lot of them cause dependency and cramping and clamping and running, And so we don't want to do that. We want to safely get the bowel to work again. So this product is really clean, and it was designed to be very gentle but very effective. And the goal in creating this product was to create muscular contraction. Just like a bicep or a workout, the more you contract a muscle, the stronger it gets. The only way we go to the bathroom is through peristalsis. Most of us are dehydrated and our diets are poor and we're sitting too much, so it doesn't work. So we have to assist that. And by making the body work naturally without dependency, when you take a product and it causes diarrhea, that actually exhausts the bowel and it causes dependency. It makes the muscles weak and tired. But we're not doing that with this product, and it's really, really nice, and it's helping many, many people. I have children, moms that put it in their children's smoothies, like a half a cup, because they're constipated and they're not going to the bathroom. But the reality is, it's better out than in. And so when you start a new program, like with the Vim Superfood, and get those omega oils and the D3 into your body, you can't be jam-packed with junk. You have to have a clean, nice system that's able to absorb food, process it, and then leave the body. It shouldn't be sitting there for days on end, if not weeks. And even before I would see somebody to receive a colon hydrotherapy session, which is like a high-tech enema, and it's clean and it's not messy and crazy, FDA-approved medical equipment, I have them use the Royal Flush for about a week before they see me. And there is a protocol, for people before they go and get a scope, to get colon hydrotherapy. And for those people, I have them use the Royal Flush beforehand so that they can get a more effective treatment. And so it's really effective. You have anything to say, honey?
Well, I learned as a pharmaceutical person that the Merck Medical Manual, which is in every doctor's office in this country, according to the Merck Medical Manual, 95% of Americans have compacted junk in their diverticuli. How many people in the room have heard of diverticulitis? 30 years, it's a household name, right? We all know what it is. We have people that suffer from it in our networks. 30 years ago, it was really unheard of. But because of all the things Lynette mentioned, it is now extremely common, and there's people my age that are having their colon resectioned because it's not clean. So we drink our nutrition. Lynette with her awesome product and the way she formulated it, and I was a guinea pig over the last year on all these different formulations, and the last formula we came out with is just amazing. But we drink our nutrition. Normally when you eat a turkey sandwich, there's a little trap door in the bottom of your stomach that closes and says, hey, something just came inside me, I need to clamp up and digest this thing and take out the good and push through the bad. But when you drink a Vim shake, we fool the gut, and that trap door never closes, and so it gets into the intestinal tract for almost immediate assimilation and absorption. 95% of that product is found in your bloodstream within minutes, and that's why it's so critical to have a clean colon. And it attaches to our prostate, guys. It attaches to the central nervous system. It attaches to your ovaries, ladies. It is an incredibly complex organ that neurologically.
I just want to, and what he's saying is true, and I just want you to look at this, because when I was sick, I was probably about 118 pounds, 120 pounds, and I wasn't going to the bathroom regularly. So I was little. And I lost 8 pounds in my first colonic, okay? I didn't have a belly out to here. It's interesting because the colon stretches depending on your body and your muscular strength of your abs and everything. It depends where it pushes up. It can crush your heart and lungs. I mean, most heart attacks are because of all of this food and stagnation after Thanksgiving dinner. It's not because of their hearts, it's because of compression. And so it can go up against the back for low back pain, squish all the reproductive organs. It's really important. That body doesn't look too out of shape. I mean, really, it just fills up. You know, when it's out to here, that's a whole nother issue. But 5 to 50 pounds really doesn't look like that much. So it's really important for that to leave the body. And this is important too because this is called the second brain. And the reason that it was so important for us to have a colon cleanser, nobody talks about this, very few people, but it was really important to us. And what I saw, the healing that I saw with my clients over the years and personally, is amazing. When you have a clean bowel, I mean, if you're congested, these are nerve points. Just like everything else in the body, there's nerves attached to the large intestine. So if there's compression, just like when you get a chiropractic adjustment, there could be impingement on a nerve. That nerve is associated with, you know, your eye or your knee or wherever the nerves are connected to. And the same goes for the bowel. These are nerve points. So we just like to show this to you that you know that it's really important, that this is the connected to the brain, and this is oftentimes connected with depression and anxiety and fear and anger and irritability in the brain and foggy brain and watery eyes and all the things that happen. This congestion has a lot to do with it. So you can't start any health or wellness program, frankly, if you're full of crap. So I think, I mean, that kind of put a downer.
It makes a great stocking stuffer to send to people and you think are full of it. You know, you just, it's not such a subtle message, but
and we like to have fun with the names, okay? Because humor goes a long way. But the Royal Flush, our full house will be Royal Flush will be your full house any day. So
some of the benefits, guys, we went through a lot of these, but just incredible benefits. Okay, this is another lifestyle product we'll cover quickly because not everybody needs energy, but clearly it's a problem in America. 14,000 kids went to the emergency room last year from drinking Monster and Red Bull and all this garbage energy drinks. They have what they call mini seizures. It only takes 55 grams of refined sugar for the white blood cells in our bodies to be paralyzed for 15 minutes. So you drink a big gulp or a Monster energy drink, your white blood cells are frozen for 15 minutes. You touch a doorknob that has a virus, you wipe your nose, your immune system's asleep, you get sick. The same wind blows on all of us. The same viruses and bacteria blow on all of us. Why do some of us get sick and some of us don't? It's the strength of our immune system. You know, somewhere along the line we thought we got smarter than God and we stopped using greens and the nutrients that are designed to increase our assassin cells, our macrophages, and all the things that we get from mushrooms and probiotics and greens. But it's just amazing. So energy is something that it's not for everybody, but we had to come out with a healthy alternative. So we use real green tea, real yerba mate, real herbs, not synthetic, because when you use energy when you enter something synthetic into the body for energy, there's always a price to pay. You're going to see epidemic levels of adrenal fatigue, and especially in 40s, 50s, 60s, where you just can't manufacture any ATP cellularly, and you're not producing any energy, and you're chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue is simply adrenal fatigue and a toxicity issue. So oomph is great for people who like to work out or people who have 2 or 3 hours of sleep behind them and know they've got a busy day. And we advocate fitness and diet. That's the triangle of wellness. Great supplements, a good fitness program. We're designed to move, guys. And if you don't move, your lymph system isn't working. That's an internal cleansing system that really stops its own pump at somewhere around after the age of 30. So moving and fitness is a part of our philosophy here, and if you look at our blog and our Facebook page, we're always advocating, and a lot of with Lisa's leadership, fitness. We've got to do it. We've got to move. So oomph is what I call my no excuse product, because when I take it, I have no excuses. I hit the gym, I clean the garage, I mow the yard, I shovel my neighbor's driveway. It just gives me that extra energy to pretend like I'm still 25 again. But it's a great product. Anything on the oomph, Hunt?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm very sensitive to energy products. And so, you know, I never was crazy about those things. You take them and you feel like you're all just drank a pot of coffee. So it was important for us, you know, when we're looking at ingredients. The Royal Flush, for example, is aloe, buckthorn, fig, okra, prune. These are normal ingredients that are very, very effective and safe. The same goes with the energy product. I mean, it was really designed to have no jitters. It's so subtle and gentle, but very effective that all of a sudden you're like, wow, I feel like making dinner, or I feel like washing the floor. I mean, it's oddly really effective, and it's nice, and it's safe even for our children. So the ingredients are really nice. Shut up. So sleep is an interesting thing, and people would come into our store desperate, addicted to pharmaceuticals, and still not sleeping. So it's a really scary place we are right now. I mean, with all the blue lights from our computers and phones and technology, this is really disrupting our sleep patterns and our melatonin production. And so we have a lot of things against us when technology hits, even though it's so awesome. And then our diets on top of it, all of those stimulants that are in our foods, those preservatives that shouldn't be in our body, they really affect our brains as well. So Les, I don't really have sleep issues, but Les does, and what we noticed in our store is that people were desperate. So we researched really well the sleep industry and looking for herbs and products that are really effective and gentle, where you're still going to wake up refreshed. And we're really proud of this product.
It's a great product. You know, we worked with a formulator to create this who's got 30 years of experience in the industry. And the reality is we had to come up with a safe alternative to the narcotics and the addictive stuff that destroy livers and kidneys out there that people are taking every night to achieve a good night's sleep. The reality is if you're not sleeping at least 6 hours of a deep restorative sleep, your HPA axis will never be level. You won't build muscle. You won't burn fat. Your immune system's out of whack. None of your body's systems work well without a good, deep restorative sleep cycle. So this is a combination of herbs that are non-habit forming, non-addictive. They help you get you ready mentally for sleep. I've suffered from insomnia, you know, for 20 years, and it's just that my gerbil won't fall off the wheel at night. I get an idea, I can't sleep. I wake up at 3, I don't go back to bed, but this just helps me get that 5 or 6 hours of deep restorative sleep, and it's a game changer for a lot of people, and it's a great product.
But you can see the things that, you know, sleep is, I mean, we have an epidemic going on with lack of sleep. It's pretty scary. So it's a nice product. And then, of course, I love the name Fat Away. Send fat away. Cracks me up every time, sorry.
So I was not so sold on the name, but Lynette, you know, went kind of retro with the branding. But again, we try to have fun with a not very fun issue. You know, we're the fattest country in the world. We are one of the most advanced country in many ways, but we spend more than any other country on healthcare, and we're the sickest, according to the World Health Organization, of all industrialized nations. We're either last or next to last in every single leading category of health. You have a better chance of delivering a healthy baby in a third world country like Cuba than you do here in the United States. The reality is it's a nutritional thing, but here's the deal that maybe your cardiologist or doctor has never told you. When you grow fat, okay, you steal from the pump. The average heart in a lean body has to pump 12 miles of blood a day. So when we put on 20 pounds of weight like I used to carry around, we don't just grow the fat and it doesn't get gangrene and fall off of us, right? No, our cardiovascular system, our capillaries grow into that fat to keep it alive. Well, guess what that steals from? Would you rather tow a travel trailer with a Prius or a Ford F-350 one-ton pickup truck? The same is true with the heart. You want your heart to be loafing, not struggling. You know, the first heart attack people have is the very 50% of the time. So half of all heart attacks, their first symptom was the heart attack itself. What does heart disease feel like? Nobody knows. It doesn't feel like anything. Your arteries could be 95% clogged and you're walking around with a smile on your face, you feel great until the heart attack comes. The reality is that obesity, what does heart disease look like? It looks like belly fat. Okay? If you've got belly fat, it's a precursor for all kinds of nasty diseases, including heart disease. And that's the #1 killer for men and women today, guys, so we have to attack the fat. You'll notice that this is a weight loss support product. There is no magic pill, despite what Dr. Oz might tell you, that you can take and just melts fat right off of you. This is a supportive product. There's 3 keys to healthy, responsible weight loss: blood sugar control, appetite suppression, and cravings control. If you can do those 3 things, and we did that with our product, Fat Away, you can have a great assistance and getting busy in the gym with Lisa and changing your diet with Lynette, or getting in one of Patty Joga's classes. The point is, it's just a great supporting product to help lose that excess belly fat that we need to do so desperately in America. Nettie?
No, and really that's it. In 1 pound of body fat, take on 4 pounds of joint pain. I mean, with decreasing your acidity with nutrition, losing a little bit of weight, taking the weight off of your joints. I mean, it's really, really a simple process, and we worked really hard to keep it as simple as we possibly could, because for the average person, just maybe having a little bit of energy to make dinner for their kids instead of ordering pizza or Chinese, or maybe cutting some emotional cravings with the fat away, to curb those sugar cravings and not overeat just because of boredom. These little things that we added to our base requirements are very effective and very safe, and we're really proud of them. I think that pretty much covers that. I mean, these are some of the results of the benefits that, that there's improvement when you lose a little bit of weight. And this isn't about, dropping 100 pounds fast. This is taking baby steps, and your body wants to respond. So when it's getting nutrition, and as it gets more nutrition, it gets a little bit more energy and alertness. And as you start to clean the bowel, your body starts to process things correctly. It really is an amazing thing that just with baby steps, and we're seeing it every day, just from doing a few simple things with really clean, effective product, we're getting great results. So we want to thank you. I don't know if there's any questions. That's our lineup here. We have 4 ways to get product if you're ever interested. If you are interested in ever having people enlightened or to share some information, we love to get in front of people just to spread the word and share how simple it is to get a little bit of health back.
There's a great book out there, guys, called The Inflammation Nation, written by a Harvard PhD, and it just talks about all the foods in our bodies that we eat in our normal food supply today that causes just rampant inflammation in the body. So I am sick and tired of losing good people to diseases, and you can call them cancer, heart disease, whatever you want, but we are warriors against inflammation with our product line, and we just want you to take that with you tonight. If nothing else, get your greens in, start juicing. We don't have all the answers, but we started a company that is pure and real. We're local, based right here in the Midwest. We're shipping into 24 states. We love to do help partner with non-for-profits and donate portions of our revenue. When we partnered with Live Fit with Lupus because it's such a critical thing that they're trying to do. Another local foundation that's going to go nationwide to help people that are lost. In our little corner of Florida, we met every day. We met people that were totally lost and they didn't know what to do. But they wanted to make changes. So we have laid out a company here that you can believe in and trust to help you make those changes, and we're very excited that you listened to us tonight. We really want to thank Lisa for inviting us, and we can stick around for questions or anything or personals. We've got samples and literature, so come on down and take a peek, and feel free to ask us anything that you want.
Thank you very
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Would you mind kind of going through some chemicals that people should avoid?
Sure.
We're talking about it.
Chemicals? In products or just in general?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, but you were saying because they don't have, like, in our.
Yeah, there's things in products, in nutritional supplements that are called excipients. And excipients are not necessary. They don't have to be there. They cheapen the product, and they're called toxic tagalongs, these excipients. When the body, like for example, takes a vitamin D, and it's an inferior product with excipients on it, which might be called magnesium stearate or silicon dioxide. Those are petroleum products, and there's lots of fillers that don't belong. Just look at added ingredients, other ingredients in your products. Ours says literally none. But most supplements have other ingredients, and they're not necessary. But what happens is the body's deficient. We're all deficient in something. And so it takes the D in a product, and it drags it in, and it says, oh my gosh, thank you, I need that. So it drags it in and it pulls it into the body, but while it's doing that, it's pulling in all the other junk that's in there that makes the product have a bigger profit for the makers. And the body does not know how to process those things, so it stores it. And pretty soon there's an accumulation. Could be in the livers, in the kidneys, in the tissues, in the brain, just like any other toxicity that doesn't go into the body, that the human body, this awesome creation that is supposed to have real natural things in it that created by nature, doesn't know what to do with those things. So they are pretty toxic. And the long run, that anymore won't help your body because your body is so abundantly full with a dramatic amount of chemicals that we don't need, whether it's in your chips or your burger or your supplements. I mean, I like to go through the day picking my poisons. If I'm going to try and spend some money and take some things that are going to make me better, I definitely don't want to have my toxins in those. If I want to cheat every now and then and go to Buffalo Wild Wings, that's going to be my cheat. But then I'm going to use my Royal Flush. So.
One of the deadliest compounds that you can find in, and now that I think about it, Justin, it may have been in the fish oil you've taken, is aspartame. Aspartame is illegal in Europe. It failed twice on FDA safety trials because of the seizures it caused in mice, and miraculously was passed when we changed the name to NutraSweet, and some key people got behind it economically, and it became legal additive, and now it's in 6,000 products, okay, including diet sodas, and it's also in thousands of different pharmaceuticals. And aspartame is a deadly neurotoxin. According to Dr. Joseph Mercola out of Chicago, it's a fatal addiction that people have. It excites your brain cells to death like cocaine does, and it's in all kinds of children's foods, diet sodas, crackers, cookies, cakes, and a lot of products in the health food world will carry this junk and this nonsense. Sucralose is another one. It's a chlorinated a molecule bound with through heat with bleach, chlorine. Nobody here would in their right mind would drink bleach, but we use sucralose because it's sugar-free. It's really nasty stuff, unproven, unsafe, and we kept all that junk out of here. So, but Lisa and I, we run into people every single day that are taking health products that have this nonsense in there, and they wonder why they're not getting rid of it. But aspartame is a absolute #1 thing that you should take out of your diet, along with dairy. You know, going out. Tom and Luann are from Wisconsin. I grew up here in Iowa, and go out and milk a cow and get some raw milk, and that's actually pretty healthy stuff. But by the time we pasteurize it and put it in a commercial jug, there is no organic calcium. There's no vitamin D assimilation. It's full of mucus and antibiotics, and that destroys the probiotics in your gut and causes inflammation and mucus. It's just really nasty stuff. So we encourage people to eliminate poisons very simply and add in the good. So from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, we provide healthy, natural, non-toxic products, unlike a lot of our competitors that are in the marketplace. But that was extremely important to us when we created this company.
And also, there isn't any sugar in this product. And sometimes that's difficult for people in the beginning. So the way we recommend it is you just take a frozen banana and some rice milk or water. If frozen fruit is sweet enough for you, then that's great. I do a half a banana and water, and it's fine. But some people start out with apple juice and water. And that's good for them. You know, our tongues are pickled from eating preservatives all day long. Every time you eat out, your tongue gets more preservatives, and we lose our taste. And as you get cleaner, your taste buds get more alert. And it really is remarkable what happens when people start to take the Vim Superfood on a daily basis. They start to realize that, wow, that's really sweet today. I need to put less apple juice in there. And it just happens because you're getting more minerals. And that's just a byproduct. Less sugar cravings when you are more alkaline and have more minerals. So
the other thing, if you go home and look in your cabinets, you'll look at your health supplements and you'll see gelatin as one of the main ingredients that makes up the capsule. Gelatin is made of the carcasses of animals.
Bones and joints of animals.
Well, most people I know don't want to eat the bones and joints and carcasses of animals. So we don't have gelatin capsules.
And we're not offering surf and turf in our fish oil. It's not gelatin capsules, and that's typically what you're going to find in the fish oil. So, and you can have a reaction to that, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When you were talking about the way to use your Vim, are there recipes on your website?
There's some recipes on the website. There's a little bit of instruction on the back here. Okay. And then on some of the postcards, there's some information. And we recommend experimenting. I mean, some people don't like bananas. They like a different thing. You know, after I work out, I don't even mix it with any fruit. I do like a little bit of rice milk and the rest water, and because I'm in a hurry, and that works for me.
Mary does too.
You,
You won't admit she uses water and.
I do water now,
See,
but I
it's
think some people.
just
won't
plain
do that.
water.
Well,
But
now
no, but
you're-
you know
now
what?
you're
'Cause I'm
hardcore.
Crazy, I said.
No, you're a warrior if you
No.
do it with water. Mike, for the
I
first
use
time,
water, yeah.
Mike, we're like, how do you like it? He goes, well, it's not too tasty. And he's like, what are you mixing it with? He said, well, just water. We're like, oh no.
Well, we have a guy, one of our consultants. He actually makes it with warm water, and he adds a little bit of salt, and he says it tastes like pea soup, and he loves it.
Yeah.
So just don't boil it because you want to keep it live.
Yeah.
But he uses just warm water, and you know, if you want something a little zesty, a little hot sauce.
I have a really good recipe that the chocolate still, Amber showed me that one, peanut butter and cinnamon.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very good almond milk, chocolate almond.
Chocolate almond milk.
You just
yeah.
want to, if you're fighting something like lupus, you want to keep your sugar intake next to nothing, frankly, but
I just want to say one thing about sugar, guys. We're always, concerned about people who are addicted to cocaine and heroin and all these things. There's a remarkable study, and you should look it up. I don't know what it's called, but just look up monkeys and sugar. And what they found was that they made monkeys addicted to cocaine, and they put them in a setting where it was cocaine or sugar. And even the monkeys, all the monkeys chose sugar over food. But even the monkeys who were addicted to cocaine chose sugar. And sugar is extremely addictive, and it's extremely dangerous. So
Slow death.
it is, it's slow death. And that's the thing. I don't mind if I just keel over and die, but I don't want to be cared for and laying in bed in a wheelchair and with a walker for 30, 40 years until the end. So you can avoid those things, and that's all inflammation.
one thing that if you're a sugarholic and you're in the room tonight and you're wondering, gee, how am I going to, this is a David Goliath issue, how am I going to attack the sugar, the Goliath? Well, there's a little organ in the base of your brainstem called the apostat, and its main function is to monitor the nutrient levels in your blood. When you put in greens into your body and you put in very dense nutrition, the apostat's satisfied. It reads the nutritional levels, it's satisfied, it sends out a hormone called adiponectin and says, stop eating, dummy, you're full. But this is something that helps you not crave sugar. I'm kind of a chocoholic, but we do dark chocolate and we do organic, but it's still chocolate and it's still sugar. But at night, my cravings are way down just when I get my greens in. So remember that apostat. It's about the size of a walnut, and you can win a trivia question maybe with that.
But that's a really good point, because we're the fattest country in the world, and nobody's triggering their apostat. We're starving into obesity, right? We're always hungry because we're just simply not getting the nutrients our body needs. It's really that simple.
The last point I want to make with you guys that is something I want you to consider, because we met a lot of people that would walk into our store and say, gee, Lynette, heart disease runs in my family. Cancer runs in my family. My mom died in her 40s of heart disease. So, it's just hereditary. It's in my genes. And Lynette would say, well, what runs in your family is bad grocery shopping habits. and they would look stunned, but science backs her up. There's been a study, genotypic versus phenotypic, and they looked at Okinawans, which were they have the number one group of centurions in the world. They have people that live to be 100, and not just 100 years and beyond, but 100 healthy years. And they monitored these Okinawans that emigrated into the United States and adopted our food and our culture and our lifestyle. Well, guess what? They adopted the American diseases that we all know that are household names that didn't exist in Okinawa. Breast cancer, diverticulitis, Alzheimer's, same thing. The second study they're looking at, I'll get to you in just a second, JT. The second study they're looking at now are Mexicans, because the large number of Mexicans that have come to this country. Well, take a woman who's eating whole foods, not chemical-laden food, in a small village in Mexico. Breast cancer doesn't exist in that village, in her pueblo. Bring her to Dallas, where she's eating McDonald's, Burger King, and a chemical-laden diet. She gets the same diseases that we Americans do. So my point is, your diet and lifestyle and nutritional intake will far outweigh your genetic profile, and so don't use that as an excuse when you leave here tonight. Yes, sir.
There's a doctor, Bruce Lipton,
Yeah.
and he positively knows that it's not hereditary. He took cancerous cells out of a person's body, put them in a petri dish, slivered off and poked at it. The piece that was in the petri dish, kept alive, had gone back to being normal.
Yes, yes.
And he said, why? Because it's not in that cancerous thinking body.
Right.
So I happen to be a hypnotherapist, and this is what I do. I help people change their mind about it, and
That's
You
Dr.
know,
Bruce
it goes-
Lipton, you guys. Look him up. It's got, it's
Yeah,
great, great
Great
reading.
point.
It's funny, today someone was talking about her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, tomorrow she goes in for a session. And so she said, I'm gonna be one, I'm gonna die of cancer. I mean, she's not even 30
Mhm.
years old. She said that today, I'm like, don't say that.
Right. Your
I
thoughts
mean,
are
your thoughts
for reality,
mean
yeah.
so much. I mean, I'm a big believer in words of affirmation. I talked about this in our group that I talked with that about clients. I mean, we've met and talked about that as well, but I think it's very important, the positive mind, positive thinking,
Absolutely.
and it goes a long way, for sure. For
Thank
sure.
you. Yeah.
and I'm going to switch from my products, which they say are very good, to yours, because and it's some people's mind just can't get over being sick
Yeah, pay
because
attention to it.
their family, generations and generations, have said so. You got not a nice set of parents, and they're pushing pressure on you. And in my sessions, I have them forgive from the heart, and then the body's ready to receive health. And so I'm going to give me a lot of your business cards, and I'm going to hand them out at my
Sounds great. Sounds great. We
office.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Lynette wants to ask this to you, but because she says I need to listen better, can you hypnotize me and get me to listen to you more?
We can try that if you're willing. I can't change, can't change your lifetime of being a guy. But I can certainly influence it.
Sometimes I get caught, I'll say, yes, honey, and she goes, that was not a yes or no question. Well, thank you guys very much. If there's no other questions, we'll turn you off and turn you loose tonight. We really appreciate you coming. And
If there's something that you were wanting to try, we do have some samples. I know everybody's dying for the royal flush. So,
Tell them how to take that really quickly.
okay, so the royal flush, this is what I recommend for everybody.
Okay.
Because everybody's different.
Certified.
Yeah, again, start with one capsule at night. And if there's a change in the morning, I mean, not the same as normal, but an increase in movement, then that's probably your dose, and most people use one capsule. But a lot of people don't, and even just to get the bowel rolling, depending on, how dehydrated you are, how constipated you are, if you take one capsule at night, in the morning if there's no change, you can take another capsule, see how it goes throughout the day. Or if you want to play it safe, take one capsule at night, wait till the next night. If nothing happened, go with 2. So you can increase morning and night by 1 capsule, and you can also decrease as things start going. You might require less, and your bowel will get stronger. Some people take one, and it lasts for 2-3 days. But it really is just fig, apple. I mean, it's really hawthorn. There's nothing in there that you don't know what it is. And aloe, it's really effective.
I think, does the bottle say though that you're not supposed to take it longer than a certain number of days? Or did I not read it? Yeah, I think it does.
No, but we recommend 7 to 10 days. No, my product, no,
Oh, okay.
no.
It shouldn't say that.
It
I've
might
heard
say-
7 before
I
too,
thought
and I don't know.
Well,
if
you know what,
somewhere-
by law, let me just clarify. There might be a little thing on the bottom, and by law, you have to have that. The FDA requires that you have to have that, okay? But there is no Cascara Sagrada or Senna or anything like that in the product. So it's not problematic
So you could use it every day.
if you needed to. And I'm just gonna clarify, it's better to empty your bowel than to keep it constipated.
And there's some real medicinal transactions happening there. There's 2 types of aloe vera. Aloe vera is actually a member of the lily family, but it's the most nutritional, dense plant on earth. You have to go below the ocean to find anything close like spirulina, chlorella. But aloe vera is incredible. It's anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral. So it really heals everything it touches. And then with the bowel diseases that we talked about tonight, they're really on fire with inflammation. So it helps put out that fire. It's a great product.
Yeah, labeling is interesting, and I'll just mention that about the oomph. What we found out is we're legally doing all of our P's and Q's, with our labeling, is that like with caffeine, for example, you could call something natural, and then put in tons of synthetic. We don't have anything synthetic. I would never give my son something that was synthetic. Now, what he does on his own is, his thing. But for me,
He's not talking.
yeah, he's not talking. But when we were doing our energy product and doing research on that and working with our chemist and our formulator that we work with, that was a really interesting, that no wonder people are having seizures and dying from energy drinks. It's really scary.
You just won't meet a doctor or find an organization, the American Cancer Society, that won't recommend D3 anymore. There's a Mount Everest of scientific data that says without D3, we don't have much of a chance. So now they're prescribing and injecting D2, which is a synthetic form of D3. And we upgrade people all the time. Synthetic vitamins don't work. They don't come into our cells, they're not assimilated.
They might work for a little while.
Yeah, they just, there's nothing to compare with the real thing. So D3 is different from D2, just so you know.
Yes.
One of my seminars that I went to, there was a scientist there and said, our bodies will accept our own natural fluids that we make from our glands, but a synthetic, it looks at it and goes, what's this? And they start to really fight each other.
It's detrimental, yeah.
Yeah, and the opposite is true with natural nutrition. JT's got a great point. Our cells, a healthy cell brings in nutrition from the Vim superfood, and it's like a match made in heaven. It's a puzzle piece that fits, and it absorbs it. Synthetic vitamins are resisted, so it really is a waste of time and money, but excellent point. We need to bring you with us on our next talk.
Nothing.
Great point.
Yes,
Great point.
I got my bag packed.
I understand like natural caffeine being green tea or maybe a coffee bean, but how do they get the synthetic like other products?
It's a man-made powder. It's a man-made chemical.
So is it derived originally from coffee?
I don't know what they're making it with. Synthetic is synthetic. They don't take a green tea leaf, blend it up, and make it into a synthetic caffeine. I mean, it naturally has caffeine in nature. So it is a lot cheaper though. And we fired a few manufacturers who wanted to take our formula and say, well, you know what, you could save money here. All we need to do is add this. It'll have higher caffeine and be more effective, but it's going to cost you half the price.
They typically
And
change.
we're like, no.
They typically change the molecular structure just a little bit, and then make it chemical based instead of the real thing.
So you get that buzz right immediately, but you won't crash. And you won't crash with it.
No, when you say it has caffeine in it, but it's not a coffee because 3 cups of coffee and I'm jittery. I can't drink 3, but I hope I don't get that jittery.
Yerba mate and green tea are in it.
Yerba mate has been used for 3,000 years that we know of as an overall health product in tribes in the Amazon and all parts of the world. Virility, vitality, immune. And so it's a boost in a lot of ways, but in a safe way. When you use real food form, you don't get that high-powered jittery feeling, and that's the case with the Jung. But caffeine is really not bad. It's been studied. It's something that helps the cardiovascular function of athletes. It's just after a certain amount, it starts to be a leach of nutrients in the body. So,
But green tea is pretty amazing. What they know is from the Hiroshima bomb, the Japanese, the only survivors who survived that, the one common denominator that all of the survivors did was they drank 22 cups of green tea a day.
or more. It's a neuroprotector.
Yeah, green tea is a really amazing plant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just drink it
so-
all day like water, but it's a neuroprotective agent.
But it's got to be clean and organic. I mean, you don't want to take a non-organic green tea that's covered with pesticides and put it into hot water, and now you're drinking a pesticide atomic bomb, So keep it clean. And it's pretty amazing. They're drawing out heavy metals and energy. It's beautiful.
Any more questions, anyone?
Well, thank you very much.